Let's go to Ken in Greenbelt. Ken, you're on the Chris Plante Show.
Hey, Chris. How you doing today?
I'm great, thank you.
Good. Listen, this is the first time I've ever called a talk show in my life, so I'm a little nervous.
Don't be. It's just us.
Good. What I wanted to say was I'm 43 years old. I was adopted at birth, and I have known my whole life I was adopted, but when I turned 30, I decided I was going to locate my birth mom. And I was adopted through Catholic Charities in Washington, D.C., and I had to go to the courts and open up my adoption seal, and I located my birth mother. And lo and behold, she was 15 years old when she had me. And her story was that she was hit over the head with a baseball bat and was raped at 15. So she went away to Catholic Charities, had me, made the brave decision to keep me, and, keep me alive. And then I was adopted, and I have 3 beautiful children now and been married for 15 years. And I would just like to speak up for those.
Wow.
Having a voice.
Wow. That's an amazing story.
Yeah, it is, and it really eats me up when I hear people talk about rape, because it is horrible. My mother won't tell me who my father's name is because he threatened to kill her if she ever said anything. So she has not told me his name, but if I was ever to meet him, the first thing I would probably do is punch him. But I think rape is horrible. But what I want to say to women out there is you can take something that was terribly done to you and make something good out of it. And that's me. So I want to speak up for all those children that, they talk about us like I was listening to CNN yesterday morning, and they make us sound like we're not even people. We can't grow up. We can't have jobs. I've been at the same job for 23 years. Highly productive in the community, teach soccer to my kids, pay taxes. I'm patriotic. I love America. And they treat us like we don't exist. And so we do. And that's really all I want to say today.
That's a very, very remarkable story. Now, you were adopted at birth.
Yes, sir.
And you were raised by a family that went to Catholic Charities, and your adoptive parents that raised you couldn't have children on their own, or did they already have children?
They did. I'm the middle child, and I'm the only one adopted. I have an older sister and a younger brother that are both naturally born.
Biological children of your adoptive parents.
Yeah.
One of my best friends growing up was adopted, and I don't know the circumstances of his adoption, but a great guy, and still a close friend to this day, even though he lives in another time zone, but adopted and raised by a wealthy family, lucky for him, in Montecito, California. But your parents, I'm guessing they were probably Catholics also. They had one of their own children, then they adopted you, then they had another child of their own, and they raised you as one of their own, and your brothers and your siblings are your siblings regardless, right?
Yes.
And you're still a big happy family of 5 people?
As a matter of fact, my adoptive parents just celebrated their 50th anniversary last June.
No kidding.
And but actually, before I knew my birth mother, I was always appreciative that I was adopted. I always knew I was adopted. They always told me that. But when I was a teenager, I kind of promised myself and promised God that I would give the favor back to somebody else. And so I'd say 4 years ago, my wife and I adopted a child from foster care. And she was a preemie baby, mm-hmm. And so she was a special needs child. Mm-hmm. So we ended up adopting her 4 years ago, and now she's 6. And so I basically have I pledged to do that when I was a young child or teenager, mm-hmm. And I've adopted a child now because I was so grateful for having the opportunity to for my parents that mm-hmm. took care of me. So it goes on, and and my daughter is a mixed child. In other words, her father's is African American and her mother's white, and we're a white family. So we have, you know, some of those type of issues we're going to have to deal with as she gets older. But she's my daughter, and I love her.
Wow.
So, anyhow, it's an emotional topic because I just get tired of people treating these unborn children like they're nothing, and they can be born and they can grow up and they can have a great life, and I just wish mothers would think hard about the future of their children. And my birth mom, I mean, even though she had me when she was 15. You know, that was a hard time in her life, and she sacrificed a lot. But later in her life, she got married, and she has 2 children of her own now.
Wow.
You know, I'm 12 years older than her oldest one, but you know, she's been a highly successful businesswoman, been married for 30-some years, and she moved on her life and was able to, you know, overcome this shame that was put on her.
Do you stay in touch with her and with your half siblings, her kids?
Yes. We see each other quite frequently, and actually she's treated me and my kids with so much love, and even her husband treats me like I'm his own child, and we have a great relationship. And I tell you what, it was one of the best decisions I ever made to try to find her. My life would just not be complete without, you know, finding her, But I knew it was a gamble when I took the chance to locate her. I had to go to the court system and hire a lawyer and, you know, spend lots of money. And they promised, you know, they told me, well, we're gonna let her know you're looking for her, but if she decides if she doesn't want to see you, this is it. The process is over.
Right.
And I was just, you know, out of luck. And unfortunately for me, she decided to meet me one day, and this was, of course, 13 years ago. But we met, you know, at a public location one day, and we've had a relationship ever since.
Wow. That's an amazing story.
So anyhow, I wanted to call and talk to you about my story because, once again, my whole purpose is not to embellish build me up in my story, but to let people know that, you know, abortion is a serious issue, and I do, you know, believe women have to be wise in their choices and what they decide to do with their body and their future, but having a baby and giving it up for adoption is not the end of the world, and it's actually quite a heroic thing to do, and it's a responsible thing to do, and it's the right thing to do. And I think we should be talking about that instead of, you know, how we can snuff out the child and stuff it underneath the bed and forget about it.
You know what? I'm really glad you called in. I thank you for calling in, and I'm just thinking about all of the things that you are. You know, a husband and a father of children, and an adopted child, and a son, and that's complicated. And in your particular case, and another thing that you are, Ken, is you're a choice.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. So anyhow, that's what I want to share with you today, and I appreciate your show, and I hope people heard my message.
Yeah, you know, I mean, Ken, thank you very, very much for calling in. I know a lot of people are going to remember what you had to say. A lot of people. I mean, that is the, you know, that's you know, Ken, you're the voice of the voiceless. The voice of the voiceless.